obwohl ja der Zuschauer eigentlich auch zum Gesamtbild dazugehört. Das hat ihn aber ziemlich, ja, ich sage es mal, getroffen im überspitzten Sinn. Und Klaus Kinski musste hier auf Abwehr gehen, hat das Gegenüber, glaube ich, auch als Holzkopf beleidigt, aber nicht direkt, sondern eher beim Moderator, hat sich darüber beschwert, dass sich dieser Mann jetzt hier meldet. Und bei ihm, finde ich, sieht man auch sehr schön die Abwehr, wie er versucht, sich zuzumauern. Und am Schluss hat dann Klaus Kinski die ganze Spannung auch mit einem Witz auflösen können. Das ist auch rhetorisch sehr elegant gemacht, weil es nimmt so die Schwere dieses anschwellenden Streites, der hier aufzubrechen droht, der auch schon durchlässig ist. Also Klaus Kinski hat schon Beleidigungen gemacht, er hat hier einen Angriff gestartet und es ist also ziemlich, ja, man geht hier schon ein bisschen gegen
der Herr Münchhausen oder wie Münchenhagen reden will. Ich werde Ihnen mal etwas sagen. Ich werde Ihnen etwas sagen.
Ja. Oder sagen Sie es mir stellvertretend.
Ja, okay. Es war damals die letzte Tournee, nicht die letzte, aber eine von den letzten Tourneen, die ich gemacht hatte, war die Tournee mit den Monologen, klassischen Monologen.
Ja.
Einer war besoffen und wollte die Vorstellung stören, oder wurde rausgeschmissen. Und die irgendwo andere, besoffen oder nicht besoffen, gleichartige Idioten, haben das als ein Alarmsignal empfunden und haben versucht, woanders zu stellen. Einer von denen ist der jetzt, der versucht hat, hier zu stellen. Aber hier würde er auch rausgeschmissen werden. Und
was mich bei Klaus Kinski immer wieder fasziniert, diese Offenheit, einfach Leute beleidigen zu können, ihn hier als Idioten bezeichnen zu können, ja, normalerweise würde man sowas eher nicht machen, weil es eben Streit provoziert. Und Klaus Kinski geht hier aber eigentlich, ich weiß nicht, bewusst oder unbewusst, geht hier aber auf Konfliktkurs, auf Konfrontationskurs. Und ich könnte mir vorstellen, dass er in seinem Leben sehr viele Konflikte aushalten musste und die Erfahrung gemacht hat, er kann sie aushalten. Und deswegen sich nicht scheut vor Konflikten. Das ist eigentlich auch meiner Meinung nach eine der großen Stärken von Klaus Kinski, dass er sich potenziell bedrohlichen Situationen halt in solchen Konflikten auch stellen kann, durchgehen kann, etwas vielleicht davon lernen kann, je nachdem, und empfindet dann Konflikte vielleicht eher auch nicht so als etwas Bedrohliches oder Schmerzhaftes, sondern vielleicht eher etwas Lustvolles, wo er auch seine Gefühle rauslassen kann, wo er seine Affekte einen Raum geben kann. Und ja, mir scheint es aber auch, dass Klaus Kinski eher eine dünne Haut zu haben hat, weil er doch ziemlich stark auf äußere Reize reagiert. Also da kommt jemand und unterstellt ihm die Leute zu verarschen und er reagiert dann direkt darauf. Also es gibt keinen Moment, wo er sich hintersinnen kann. Ja, wie soll ich jetzt darauf reagieren? Was ist mir am wichtigsten? Ja, vielleicht, dass es jetzt zu keinem Streit kommt. Er nimmt es aber in Kauf und ist für mich auch ein Zeichen, logischerweise ist großer Hinweis dafür ist, dass er extrovertiert ist und das passt eigentlich auch zum extrovertierten Bild, dass man eigentlich ja nicht zuerst nachdenkt, oder jetzt ein bisschen überspitzt gesagt, nicht zuerst nachdenkt, sondern intuitiv darauf reagiert, intuitiv mit der psychischen Kraft eigentlich nach außen geht. Ein Introvertierter würde mit der psychischen Kraft nach innen gehen, nachdenken, ja, sich Zeit nehmen und so weiter, aber Klaus Kinski in seiner Extrovertiertheit reagiert direkt darauf. Und ich könnte mir auch vorstellen, dass diese Streits auch selbst gemacht sind, weil er eben so dieses ja, impulsive Gemüt hat, dieses dieses intuitive, auch dieses gefühlsmäßige Auftreten, dass es halt deswegen auch eher zu Streit kommen kann. Und dieses Intuitive, diese Extrovertiertheit ist auch ziemlich angriffig. Also er benutzt hier Schimpfwörter, benutzt hier Wörter, die den Wert des Gegenübers beschränken oder beschneiden könnten. Und ja, ist für mich eigentlich nicht verwunderlich, dass er immer wieder in Streitsituationen kommt.
Ich muss
Also
Ihnen
noch wird er
sagen, ich war
nicht.
sogar ziemlich schlecht organisiert. Die Rolling Stones sind viel besser organisiert, als ich es war. Weil die lassen die nun wirklich gleich zusammenschlagen. Von den Hell Agents. Und ich finde es auch richtig, weil nämlich jemand, der eine Show macht, ist der Boss.
Ja, aber Sie tun es doch für das Publikum und dieses Publikum bezahlt. Ich gehe nicht davon aus, dass jemand bewusst
Man
stört.
tut es logischerweise, das Publikum. Das kann man sich ja auch alleine als Sau.
Also das ist für mich ein Hinweis, er hat gesagt, der die Show macht, ist der Boss. Und wenn natürlich diese Autorität untergraben wird, dann ja, muss man reagieren. Und hat auch hier einen Vergleich gemacht mit den Rolling Stones, die natürlich viel größer sind als er. Ja, die würden hier die Leute direkt zusammenschlagen. Finde ich eine sehr grenzwertige Aussage. Ich könnte mir vorstellen, dass eventuell die Empathie von Klaus Kinski da auch ein bisschen eingeschränkt ist, dass er nicht mehr wahrnehmen kann, wie es ist für jemanden, der wirklich zusammengeschlagen wird von Security-Personal und so weiter. Und dass das bei mir ist jetzt auch, ist mir bei ihm jetzt auch aufgefallen, dass er vielleicht eher einen erhöhten Selbstbezug hat. Er sieht sich als Autoritätsperson, und wenn jemand kommt und diese Autorität schmälert, dann muss er reagieren und nimmt da ziemlich viel in Kauf. Also auch, dass Leute oder findet es gut, dass dann Leute auch ja, verprügelt werden und dass denen Schaden genommen wird. Ja, ich persönlich finde das eine bedenkliche Aussage. Und psychologisch gesehen könnte ich mir vorstellen, dass da das Empathievermögen von Klaus Kinski in dieser Situation
Recently, Alex Jones was speaking about Michael Wolff, the author of the controversial book Fire and Fury. And during his rant about Michael Wolff, he randomly mentioned Brian Stelter, who is the host of Reliable Sources on CNN. He brought him up because he feels that Stelter looks a little like Michael Wolff. And then he proceeded to go on this, in my opinion, incredibly disturbing rant about Brian Stelter. I don't want to give too much away. I'm going to let you judge for yourselves. Let's take a look at the first video.
But just look at Stelter again. Put him on screen. I think this all the broadcast should be is just a photo of Stelter smiling. Oh my gosh. Oh, hell on earth.
Okay.
But what was wrong with that picture?
Right.
I don't know what was wrong with that picture.
He's jealous of him because he's cuter than him. That's what it was.
He's got a nice smile. It's a good picture. I don't know.
Stelter was a good sport and said, thanks for using a flattering picture.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, there it is, right? So now, look, it's going to take a dark turn in a second, but while it's still fun, Alex Jones, the guy who does the shirtless videos, is making fun of somebody else's appearance. Okay. And all right, but so far, like, okay, you're freaked out by Stelter's appearance, but it actually, there is something there. And why does he say that he looks like Michael Wolff? But we're going to connect those dots in a second. Let's keep going.
He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy. And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got.
Okay, so he's a lunatic. Anyone who now disputes that he's a lunatic, let's just move on, right? So, look, there's getting animated on air, and we at the Young Turks have gotten animated on air. There's no question about that. Then there's that, right? Great. Whatever that was. But
It's Brian Stelter. There it is. Oh, my God. I mean, that is a horror movie cover. Seriously, he is scarier looking than it. The clown. I mean, would you let your children anywhere near that psychopath? I mean, that is a psychopath right there. I mean, look at him. God. Oh, I mean, it cries out. Danger, danger, alert, alert. I am a scumbag. I am filth. I am your enemy. I would literally not be able to finish my dinner if somebody walked over and talked to me that looked like these two guys. And I'm sorry. They're not just lying anti-American scumbags that want to run us all on the ground because they're little men. They're pieces of crap. They think they're better than everybody. That's what it's about. It's the spirit of evil, and we must break them. I've tried to do joke photos like this to look disingenuous, and I can make any face I want to. I can't pull it off because the eyes, Chico. It's always in the eyes. Oh my gosh. Oh, hell on earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy. And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got. Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil! You will pay. Yeah, you think I don't see your face, scum? You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you, you understand me? I know what you think of me and my family. I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter? Stelter. You will fall. You will not bring humanity down. God is going to destroy you. Get him off the screen. God, they're so evil. Just please, God, free us from them. They're drunk on our children's blood, for God's sake. Like, who's in the government? Joe Obama? Joe Obama? Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama, Joe Obama. Stock market to zero. I want to be more. I want North Korea. Joe Obama. You look at that guy as a ravenous demon. Fully engaged with pure Satanism. It's your fault we got to kill kids. We're liberal. You're not. Get used to it. No, you don't have a uterus. No, you don't have a vagina. No, you can't have babies. No, no, no. I don't care what you think you are. If you think you're a dog or the Easter Bunny or a Keebler elf on PCP from Clandathu. Repent now. Repent now. I know your mustache is cool. You got little gold frame glasses. You scare me so bad. You scare. Scum! Scum! I'll triple down on your engineering. I'll do whatever you say. I won't live in a single family dwelling. I won't have a car. I'll do whatever you say. I'll take all the Prozac. Just make me happy. They say, we're never going to make you happy. Now go beat up an old white woman because she's white. They're like, but I'm white. Prove that you know whites are bad. Attack the other whites. But you're white. It's okay. I'm a master white. I'm a good white. Now we have all these immigrant friends we've brought in who we've taught to hate the whites, but we lead them. Understand? You know, it's okay. Some people want to adopt children. There's more people wanting to adopt each year than kids that are aborted. Did you know? Oh, shut up, white filth. Your mother sucks you know what in hell. I mean, her voice is like that. We've played the video. And tell us the McDouble is the cheapest and most nutritious food in human history. I can't say that enough. Oh. There you go. The fire of the communist Chinese, that's your power? When it's on the verge of collapsing? This is what you're into? She goes, well, no, I didn't adopt a white child. I adopted a girl from China. Oh, more white savior. Well, but it's nice to be sweet to babies. I kill my kids. This is real. I kill them. I kill them. I kill them. I kill them. I mean, what frickin' dimension is this little creature from? You're looking at a frickin' little green man, folks, and they hate our frickin' guts. We DNA test your dog's poop to make sure you're not letting your dog poop outside. But that's not a surveillance grid. That's not beyond Big Brother or Brave New World. Yeah, you're down with it. And I go down, and there's people with huge mustaches and a pink sock and a green sock dancing with potbellies. And they go, screw you, Alex. We don't care. And I'm like, it's a master plan to take you down. I think your mustache is cool, actually. I think your green and red sock is cool. But listen, and I go out to these parades, and I see the males that, for whatever reason, genetically were more predisposed to submit to this and for it to be more evident, and they have no sperm count. They have necks that are probably 2 inches around. I mean, I'm not kidding. Horrible sunken eyes, young and old. They look like living dead. They don't look effeminate, because there's always been men that are effeminate. Whatever. They don't. The women are like hyper-estrogen goblins, and the men are like little skinny zombies. And it's like, look what they did to you. And then they say you're against people that are a different gender, or people that identify as being a dog or a baby, or a 50-year-old man says they're a 6-year-old kid, so they want to play with your daughter. And then you bring in a bunch of third-world people totally confused who already have inferiority complexes given to them by the media, and then they tell them, you feel inferior because evil white people. Destroy them. And most whites go, gosh, I'm not racist. Let me capitulate to whatever you want.
42,000 pairs, 6X for the illegal aliens from south of Mexico that bus up on a train every day. To understand, folks, you could wear this. I could wear this as a onesie, okay? I could wear this as a leotard. I mean, oh my God. Oh my God, we're being invaded by South American walruses. The government is shipping in 42,000 people. That's bigger than Jabba the Hutt. This country is so screwed up, man. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's reaching a proportion. If you're a radio listener, you can't see them. Oh my God, look at this. Oh God, I don't think I've ever laughed this hard on air. Oh my God, help me, it's so ridiculous.
And I mean, let's just be honest. This is what 10 hours of TV and sitting on your ass all day eating GMO does. The giant throngs of orc-like, goblin-like, troll-like people. And it's always weird, like, we're gay, so we want to have a embryo.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and you know, one of the interesting factors that comes with being an internet personality is that you cannot control the narrative that somebody else has about you, right? You cannot control someone else's opinions. You cannot change any of that, no matter how much you want to. Believe me. However, what you do with that, it says more about you than not. And there are many ways people can totally screw this one up, myself included. However, this is going a little bit too far in regards to Chuck Wendig. Now, Chuck Wendig was a writer at Marvel and at Star Wars. He wrote a couple, I think he wrote the Aftermath book trilogy of the new canon that Star Wars put out. And this, believe it or not, all based off the fact he tweeted out he wanted to write for Star Wars, and that ultimately led to him getting a job, which was actually pretty cool. But then the 2016 presidential election happened, and he went nuts. Right? He went straight up nuts, and he has not slowed down on Twitter ever since. And it was his social media rhetoric. The fact that what he said was very much looked at as being a call for violence against Trump supporters, even though ultimately it wasn't.
Some prominent Democrats have come under fire for not denouncing Louis Farrakhan's hateful rhetoric about Israel. And now, newly elected Minnesota Democrat Ilhan Omar is making a 180 on her, well, what used to be support of Israel. Take a listen to her during an August debate at a synagogue. Listen.
I support a two-state solution. I think it is going to be important for us to recognize Israel's place in the Middle East. I believe right now, with the BDS movement, it's not helpful in getting that two-state solution.
So then the BDS movement was not helpful. But since winning the election, her campaign now says she supports the boycott, divestment, and sanctions, the BDS movement against Israel. She's not alone. Some now saying anti-Semitism is becoming normal in Democratic circles. Here to react is lifelong Democrat, Harvard Law Professor Emeritus, and author of The Case Against Impeaching Trump, Alan Dershowitz. Professor, thanks for being here this morning. I know this is an issue you are very passionate about. I'm going to use another tweet that Ilhan Omar put out from 2012, where she said, Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. Hashtag Gaza, hashtag Palestine, hashtag Israel. So she was clearly anti-Israel then. She covered it up a bit to run for office. Now she's full out for the BDS movement. What does that say about her and the modern Democrat Party?
Well, the Democratic Party is not anti-Semitic, but they are tolerating anti-Semitism on the hard left part of their base because they don't want to alienate that part of their base. And so you get Keith Ellison gets elected deputy chairman of the Democratic National Party, even though he had close associations with Farrakhan and falsely denied them. Bill Clinton, who I like very much, who's a friend, goes to a memorial service, sees Farrakhan there and doesn't leave. Imagine if he had seen David Duke, he'd get up in a minute and leave. Many members of the Black Caucus have had associations with Farrakhan. And now we have this newly elected member of Congress. Look, I support diversity. I think it's a great thing to have Muslims and Muslim women in Congress, but this woman has gone over the line to anti-Semitism. She talked about Israel hypnotizing the world. I mean, that's kind of an old anti-Semitic trope. So my concern is not that the Democrats are becoming anti-Semitic, it's that they are unwilling to attack anti-Semites on the extreme left of their base because they don't want to lose votes.
So
Look,
you think it's political? I mean, you're acknowledging there's tolerance of intolerance, and it's ultimately a political calculation. But yet, it used to be that support for Israel was very bipartisan in Washington. Are you saying Israel is becoming effectively a partisan issue?
Well, I hope not. I think Israel still is bipartisan among the mainstream Democrats, but when you elect people to Congress who have very strong anti-Israel views, it begins to raise questions about whether bipartisanism will remain in the future. Remember, these are young people. Some people are saying they are the future face of the Democratic Party, and they are not only anti-Israel, but often that anti-Zionism morphs into anti-Semitism. Look, the Republicans had a problem as well with anti-Semitism on the hard right, and they have been justly criticized sometimes for an unwillingness to attack the extreme right on their base.
Well, you would acknowledge that that's a much larger problem inside the modern left of the Democrat Party. If you would, for a second, you agree.
Yeah, no question.
The BDS movement, briefly, break it down for our people why it's so dangerous.
Well, it's not a movement. It's only directed against one country, the democratic nation-state of the Jewish people. And it basically says you can't have anything to do, any cultural exchanges, any scientific exchanges with only one country, and that is the only democratic country in the Middle East. It's an anti-Semitic movement to its core. I wrote a book a few months ago called The Case Against BDS, showing that it's anti-peace and it's anti-Semitic. And anybody who supports the boycott movement solely against Israel, without condemning Hamas, without condemning Saudi Arabia, without condemning some of the most repressive regimes in that part of the country, there's only one excuse or justification for focusing on the only nation-state of the Jewish people, and that's anti-Semitism. The Democratic Party has to do a better job. The Republican Party has done a better job in ridding it and condemning the anti-Semites on the hard right. Now the Democratic Party must do a better job in condemning anti-Semites
we'll see
on the hard left.
Because there's a lot of new young congressmen and women who see the world differently than old-line Democrats might. Alan Dershowitz,
and they have to be condemned.
Appreciate it. Enjoy Miami. Looks good there. Appreciate your time.
genes so that it can also be changed, because maternal love is the
Alex Jones did.
God is going to. I don't see your GTX.
Alex Jones did a disturbing rant against CNN host Brian Stelter that I wanted to share with you. Let's watch.
You will pay. Yeah, you think I don't see your face, scum? You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you. You understand me? I know what you think of me and my family. I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter? Stelter. You will fall. You will not bring humanity down. God is going to destroy you. Get him off the screen. Oh, God, they're so evil. Just please, God, free us from them.
A disturbing rant against CNN host Brian Stelter that I wanted to share with you. Let's watch.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, hell on earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy. And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got. Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil. You will pay. Yeah, you think I don't see your face, scum? You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you. You understand me? I know what you think of me and my family. I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter? Stelter. You will fall. You will not bring humanity down. God is going to destroy you. Get him off the screen. Oh, God, they're so evil. Just please, God, free us from them.
Yeah, this isn't funny anymore. You know, I've done a lot of segments on Alex Jones.
Oh, my gosh.
And
hell
most of
on
them
earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy. And I
Oh, my gosh. Oh, hell on earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy. And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got. Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil!
To meet your doom.
'Tis I. You will pay. Yeah, you think I don't see your face, scum? You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you. You understand me? I know what you think of me and my family. I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter? Stelter. You will fall. You will not bring humanity down.
Did you hear about the Democrats launching a civil war on July 4th?
Destroy you.
No? Must have missed it? InfoWars hoaxer Alex Jones claimed it was going to happen. He claimed there was going to be a new civil war on July 4th.
God, free us from them.
Just the latest example of an InfoWars hoax, a story that was totally made up and designed to deceive people. Jones does this all the time.
Brian, the living Humpty Dumpty embodiment, Stelter. Brian Stelter told you Hillary had a 97% chance of winning and that the debates weren't rigged. It was all rigged. That little demonic Humpty Dumpty who looks and acts like the weird hunchback executives of dying media, so they like him because he looks like somebody you wouldn't let babysit your children. And you've got this villain that thinks you're stupid, up there constantly pushing what his masters want to shut down competition to CNN. CNN is CNN's biggest competition. Your lies, your track record, your fraud. You're the reason you're a joke.
So here's a big question. Do tech giants like Facebook have any obligation to stop InfoWars in its tracks? CNN's Oliver Darcy was at a Facebook event about this. So he asked a simple question. How can Facebook be serious about fighting misinformation and still let InfoWars have a page with nearly 1 million followers? Here to tell us what happened next is CNN senior media reporter Oliver Darcy.
Where the hell do they get people like this? I'm not saying that guy's a pervert. I'm just saying he looks like one creepy, ugly son of a bitch. He's senior media reporter. Why don't I give myself some big title? These are all just little weird wimps that want to have the big 100-foot ding-dong, and they want to control what you see. Look at the face. Would you let that guy babysit your children? I mean, seriously. That is a power-mad fruit ball. It's like, why does every one of these guys look like the Subway spokesman?
Well, I went to this press event where they aim to tout their fight against misinformation and conspiracy theories online. And after the presentation, I asked a very simple question. How can you host InfoWars and then sit there and tell us that you take misinformation online to be seriously? And at the time, the Facebook executives didn't really have a good answer.
But the answer from Facebook is pretty clear. They say, we demote those BS stories so fewer people see them. That is action.
You see Stelter, kind of like Humpty Dumpty, the power trip. He's up there going, that is action. See, Stelter, you don't culturally, historically, genetically have manhood or a victory. But if you're perched up on a big corporate sellout, you're like, I'm a man. He's imagining screwing free speech. Like, I'm Brian Stelter. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm Brian Stelter. Oh, yeah. Brian Stelter. Oh, yeah.
He's literally humping America like a gorilla up on a top of a tree, like crowing his power. He's like, well, they did take action. I mean, they did. I'm Brian Stelter. I rule America. I do. I am the Holy Church of Power. I will give you the light.
Right. It is action, and that's Facebook's argument. I think a lot of people are saying maybe that's not enough action. Why would you poison 100 people with false information if you're acknowledging that it's not good information? It's not good enough for a large audience, so why would it be good enough for a small audience? And I think that is going to be a question that Facebook's going to have to answer going forward.
I'm not saying that he had a pubic hair from his butt transplant to his face. But that guy that's calling for me to be banned off the internet is anti-free speech and is very fascist. But it does show his beard. His beard looks like he had a butt hair transplant. Did he have an anal hair transplant? Like those ones on the side right there. You don't like America? Get the hell out of it, you piece of crap. You big fat bully trying to shut down my free speech. Feel your hands, scum. Ban us completely because you already banned us. We're so ready for you. See, with me, it's not a bluff, scum, like it is with you. You have the birthright of slavery.
Yeah, so the company's response, it says, these sites might be opinion or analysis. I think the reason why this offended so many people is because they're suggesting it's an opinion. It's an acceptable opinion.
It is my opinion that Brian Stelter rapes the truth every day. It is my opinion that Brian Stelter looks like my vision in my mind of what a child molester looks like. Now, I don't think Brian Stelter's a child molester. I think he molests the truth. But he looks like It the Clown. He looks like a nightmare vision. He looks like, and his actions are anti-free speech. There's another photo. Oh, well, it's the subway guy, sorry. He looks like that. So all I'm saying is, hey, dude, you're trying to rape my truth. So I'm not hiring you for babysitting, Stelter. Uh-huh.
This is not just an issue for Facebook. It's an issue for Twitter, for YouTube, for other tech platforms as well. InfoWars pops up on all of them.
The worst dictators are beta males that try to become alpha males because they've got something to prove. You're a beta coward cuck who only used an open free society that protected you to run rampant against alpha males. And now you're going to taste lightning bolts. Oh, God, shut him down, Jesus! Don't go in, whatever you do. Don't look at it, no. That little son of a bitch thinks he's better than everybody? You know what? If America wants that to rule you, then tell me. And I'll turn loose, and you can all deep six with that monster. He'll red terror your ass so hard you won't know what to do. Oh, God, give us a red terror, Satan, please. Yes, sir. That was something.
Alex Jones did a disturbing rant against CNN host Brian Stelter that I wanted to share with you. Let's watch.
Oh my gosh. Oh, hell on earth.
He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a...
Identity going around of, oh, their own decisions. And they made their own decisions.
You know, so you want to talk about approval ratings, and I'm telling you about the numbers that matter to Americans.
Because
Look,
his approval ratings are shockingly low. It's a problem, not just for you and for me, but for the nation, that this president is not trusted by the American people.
No, that's wrong. You know it's a problem for this nation that you refuse. CNN used to be a place where people can tune in and get the news all day long. Now they get spin in people's opinions. And I think CNN should own it. Brian, why not just say, look, it's in our commercial interest at CNN to be anti-Trump. We're profitable if we're against the president. Most of our viewers are against the president. Just own it. Don't you think that would be more credible for CNN than
I
pretending
understand that
you're
you
straight
don't
down
want
the
an
middle?
adversarial media. I guess you just want everybody to be like Fox News.
Media.
State-run
No, that's
media.
not true. Stop being so jealous of Fox News, Brian, and their ratings. I think that would help if you drop the jealousy a little bit about Fox News.
Now, before he was hired by CNN, Brian Stelter was a star media correspondent at the New York Times. Really, that was just a warm-up. Now he covers the industry through President Trump's fog of misinformation. Andrew sat down with Stelter this week, and we'll have that conversation in a moment. But first, a little bit of background.
You are fake news. Fake news, the enemy of the people.
Donald Trump's war with mainstream media is well documented.
All I can say is it's totally fake news, just fake.
His attacks against journalists were at first shocking. Now they've become expected, a well-known tool of his outsider presidency.
But the very dishonest media, those people right up there with all the cameras.
Amid the chaos of a commander-in-chief attempting to discredit the news media are journalists who say their work is more important than ever.
Good morning, I'm Brian Stelter, and it's time for Reliable Sources. Ahead this
Brian
hour,
Stelter is the host of the CNN program Reliable Sources, a show that examines the media world. Stelter not only covers Trump, but also what it's like to cover Trump.
The challenge for people like me as reporters is to refuse to be confused.
I met up with him in our national studio in Toronto to talk about the role of the media in the era of Trump and if the national news media itself has crossed any lines. Brian, nice of you to join us here in our Toronto studios. Thanks for being here. Tell me, never a dull day in the United States these days, I suppose. Recently, there was the State of the Union address. Trump referred to this as a new American moment. What do you make of all of this?
There were parts of the speech that were inspiring. There were also parts of the speech that were deeply divisive and some pieces that were downright false and filled with fibs and falsehoods. And that's, classic Trump. What we've learned about him over the past year is that he appeals in an incredibly emotional way to a part of the United States, and he deeply angers and causes resentment and fear among another big chunk of the United States. And frankly, I think a lot of news consumers are just exhausted by it all, by the pace of the news cycle in the U.S.
Well, and let's talk about the news cycle, because you're a journalist who covers a lot of things. You cover journalism itself as well. And so when we look at Trump's relationship with the media in particular, the enemy of the American people, as he's put it, I mean, that escalates things, that ratchets things up.
Yes, we have not seen this before from an American president. Even Richard Nixon, when he was attacking the news media during Watergate, he was doing that privately. That was on tapes that only came out later. So this is very much uncharted territory for the national news media in the U.S. and for consumers of news who don't know what to believe.
Well, the national news media, but CNN in particular, right? I mean, CNN is often in the president's crosshairs. I'm curious to know how that affects you and how that's affected your work.
The issue is not how it may affect staffers, it's how it affects the audience, the people that follow him on Twitter or follow him on Facebook. The daily kind of fake talk from President Trump is poisonous because it has this trickle-down effect that causes an erosion of credibility in the minds of some voters. It's hard to measure, it's hard to prove that on a daily basis, but I checked on Twitter, I checked in his speeches. He said the word fake more than 400 times in his first year in office. That has an effect over time in people's minds. And so I think the challenge for us in the news media is to reinforce why we do what we do, how we try our best to be accurate and fair. It's a real opportunity. Every time he attacks the media, it's also an opportunity for us to defend and explain ourselves and to remind people of our role in civic life.
To that extent, it's changed the way you operate?
I think it has a little bit. Look, when he tweets something offensive or nasty about the news media, and I sometimes run over to the Bureau and hop on CNN and talk about it, I do see it as an opportunity. I try to look at it as a positive, to say, here's how we actually do our jobs. Here's how we know that story is not fake. Here's how we know those sources are real. It's an opportunity for media literacy 101 when he throws out these tweets.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you accept any of the criticism? I mean, the extremes aside, there is a critical look at CNN, the way it operates, and that it has gone beyond simply reporting the facts, and that it has in fact chosen sides.
I don't think CNN is, or any other channel right now, is anti-Trump. What we are seeing are journalists trying to stand up for truth and decency. And when President Trump gives an inspiring speech, we should and we do say so. When he makes up false stats, when he makes up fake facts, when he spews lies on Twitter, then we say that as well. I don't think that's opinion. I think that's much needed context in a really confusing world.
So that raises a really interesting point too. Analysis, context, you mentioned the interjection of opinion. And I'm curious about some of the work that you've done, because on air, you have referred to Trump as being, or suggesting at least, that he's unfit, perhaps, for office. You've referred to his presidency as madness. Does that cross the line?
The night that he tweeted about his nuclear button, and then 12 minutes later said he was going to give out fake news awards, you know, what can you call that other than madness? I thought on a night like that, when he's using Twitter to talk about a nuclear haunt and then criticizing the press, I think journalists need to have the space and the freedom to talk openly about what's going on, about his reckless use of Twitter.
But I guess I wonder, is that a judgment for a journalist to make, right? That's the question, to make that judgment call.
I think there's a healthy tradition in America of aggressive, sometimes adversarial journalism, of journalists being on the side of the audience at home. And we're seeing more of that now. We definitely are.
Let me flip it around, because when you look at the negativity that's out there, and I want to bring up Alex Jones of InfoWars fame, and granted, he is someone who, of course, is known for being inflammatory on that end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And I just want to read some. You're very familiar with what he said about you.
I've heard about it
in particular, yeah. but let me just read what he said about Brian Stelter. So. He has called you narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. He's called you disingenuous, fake, false, twisted.
Broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil!
It goes on and on and on and on.
It does.
I mean, again, his MO is to be as inflammatory and to spew as much as vitriol as possible. This is what he does. But how do you handle that?
If he complimented me, then I'd be worried, you know, because he throws out all of these insults and says, I drink children's blood. Some of it is downright disgusting. I mostly ignore it, but I will admit that some of my family members don't like hearing those kinds of things when they get amplified to millions of people.
Well, and that's why this is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Because he has a following, a big following. And I'm curious the extent to which you have felt the backlash, not just from him, but from all of the people who listen to him on a regular basis, and in the same way that people listen to Trump, who believe what he said.
You know, look, I look at Alex Jones as the dark side of an amazing phenomenon. The ability for anyone to publish anything on the internet. And that has caused a lot of good around the world. That has caused a tremendous amount of good. However, you know, when you look at these conspiratorial programs that spew hate and vitriol, that's the downside. That's the dark side of this amazing digital revolution. And as long as we can give people tools to know the difference, then I think things work out just fine. What I worry about is people who might not be able to discern the difference between InfoWars and The National. That would be a problem. And so I think we need to give people better tools to tell the difference.
As an American journalist who has covered at length Trump's presidency and I suppose the presidency that came before, I mean, what is the burning question that you want answered? I mean, if you had 5-10 minutes to sit down with him and to discuss, I mean, what is it that's top of mind for you?
He seems to try to create his own realities, whether it's claiming that millions of people voted illegally or claiming that anything having to do with Russia is a hoax. To try to get to the bottom of that may not be possible, may not be possible for anyone to figure out, but it sure would be worth trying. With President Trump, it might be useful to just dig down deep on one topic. Why do you call the Russia thing a hoax? What really did happen before Election Day? And try to dig on one of those topics. But hey, let's be honest, he's not giving any interviews right now to anybody that's not his friend. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Well, certainly there would be much to discuss. Brian, it's been wonderful to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Slain DNC staffer Seth Rich has been the subject of twisted conspiracy theories. At one point last year, Fox News posted and promoted a story connecting Rich's unsolved murder in D.C. to WikiLeaks and the election. The story was featured prominently on Sean Hannity's program, and it was later retracted and pulled off the Fox News website. Now, his parents are suing Fox.
I want the people who started the lies, who are responsible for the lies, held accountable. This has got to stop. We lost his body the first time, and the second time we lost his soul. They took more from us with the lies.
There was another lawsuit this week targeting people that promote conspiracy theories. It involves InfoWars and the host of InfoWars, Alex Jones. Already, InfoWars is at risk of losing its YouTube channel. And now this lawsuit is trying to take Jones and InfoWars and others to court, saying they're responsible for promoting hoaxes that actually are defamatory toward the people involved. Let's talk about this lawsuit with Brennan Gilmore. He is the plaintiff in the case. He says he was a target of Jones's conspiracy theories. He's also joined by his lawyer, Andrew Mendrala. I appreciate you both for being here. Brennan, I don't have much time, so I want you to tell me what the case is, what you say was defamatory in all the talk about you on InfoWars.
Well, the defamatory statements were legion, and they were very egregious. People said that I was a CIA asset who was sponsored by George Soros or Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton or you name it, to help orchestrate the violence that we saw in Charlottesville last August. They took my service to the United States as a Foreign Service officer and twisted it into a long story of lies that had me, culpable for what we saw last year in Charlottesville.
So you're challenging Jones and a number of other people in court. Andrew, there are obviously strong protections for media organizations, even ones that are revolting, like InfoWars. So how do you expect to win?
Sure. Well, I think the case for defamation is strong. I mean, Alex Jones and these people sort of feel like they have impunity to say whatever they want and hide behind the First Amendment and claim that any challenge to the lies that they spread are protected speech. And we think that that the Fourth Amendment does not protect speech that is demonstrably false, that in many ways has ruined Brennan's life, and it has incited violence and harassment against him. So we think the case is clear.
Brennan, Jones loves to use clips from this show, so if he's watching, what do you want him to know?
I mean, I don't, you know, we'll have the court process to go over the claims that he made against me, and we'll show in court that they're all baseless. And I think, you know, I'm looking forward to that process, because there are laws that we believe govern responsible journalism, and they do not abide by them. They don't abide by journalistic ethics. They don't abide by the little illegal code.
So you're using the court process to challenge conspiracy theories. It's really interesting. We will keep an eye on your case. I'm sorry, I'm up against a hard break, but we will try to keep an eye on your case, and we thank you both for being here.
Brian Stelter is a host of a show on CNN about the media called Reliable Sources, which makes it sound like he himself is a reliable source about how the media works. Which is why I was pretty amused when he recently tweeted what basically amounts to a conspiracy theory about how the media just went to work. It was about how Attorney General Jeff Sessions recently asked for the resignations of 46 U.S. attorneys. And Stelter linked that to how Fox's Sean Hannity had just said that holdovers from the Obama administration have to go. Stelter tweeted, "Cause and effect?" referring to how Hannity said Obama holdovers have to go the night before Sessions asked for the resignations. So basically, the reliable source, Brian Stelter, actually was saying that Sessions asked for those resignations because of Sean Hannity. Hannity's call to get rid of Obama holdovers was the cause, and the effect of that was Sessions asking for a bunch of resignations, as in Hannity was the reason for Sessions' move. Stelter was making it sound like Sessions did this outrageous thing by asking for these resignations, and not only was that outrageous, but it was caused by Fox News. There is no other way to interpret Stelter's tweet. It literally said cause and effect. It literally made a conspiracy out of Sessions' call for the U.S. attorney's resignations. The Reliable Sources host was the source of this conspiracy theory, which is what makes the name of his show so funny to me. Because there's no conspiracy here. Sessions asking for those resignations was not caused by Sean Hannity, Brian Stelter. In fact, there was nothing outrageous about it. In fact, Janet Reno, Bill Clinton's attorney general, fired 93 U.S. attorneys when Clinton took office. That's more than double that of Sessions. Obama replaced a bunch of Bush's attorneys in 2009, too, and Bush himself did it. It's what they all do these days. So there was no cause and effect conspiracy between Hannity and Sessions like Brian Stelter insinuated in his tweet. And Stelter has worked in politics and news for a long time. He should know there's nothing outrageous about Sessions' move or how stupid it would be to say it was because of Sean Hannity. But instead of presenting that information, he decided to make a conspiracy out of it, which he spread to his 500,000 followers. Which is why, if you ask me, maybe you shouldn't rely only on Brian Stelter as your source of information after all.
Why do you want to deport me?
Well, we did it as a way to bring attention to the fact that we have all of these foreigners and the Russian government, the official Chinese government. Mao said political power goes out of the barrel of a gun. He killed about 80 million people because he's the only guy that had the guns. So we did it to point out that this is globalism. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? That's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our gun.
How many gun murders were there in Britain?
How many great white sharks?
No, how many
kill people every year, but they're scared to swim.
Right. How many gun murders were there in Britain?
A very low amount. I already went over those statistics.
Many, do you know?
It was only a few hundred.
No. How many gun murders?
I actually did pull up the statistics. Here, let me pull them out right here. I figured you'd do that.
Gun murders in Britain last year.
UK violent crime, capital of Europe. London Telegraph. Here, let me give you more.
It's quite a simple question.
Well, that's the oldest.
You're a very loud man.
No, that's the oldest Perry Mason tactic to ask me some little factoid.
It's not a little factoid.
I already said earlier,
we're talking about
England has a lot lower gun crime rate because you took all the guns.
Let me try exactly my point.
But you've got hordes of people burning down cities and beating old women's brains out every day.
Let's try again. How many gun murders were there?
Oh, you're going to ban your fist now?
In Britain last year.
How many chimpanzees can dance on the head of a pin?
I already went over those statistics.
Do you know the answer?
No, I don't.
You said hundreds.
It's very low.
You said hundreds.
Yes.
It's actually 35.
Well, the point is you can...
Against 11,000. Do you understand the difference between 11,000
Yeah, England
and
wants
35?
to ban knives now because tens of thousands are getting stabbed.
Right. But do you understand
ban
the
knives?
difference?
The knife doesn't kill people.
Do you understand?
The gun doesn't kill people.
Yes.
Listen,
do
you understand
between 35
you're not going to pull on America's
11,000?
heartstrings. They know your script, okay? You're not going to get our guns.